Good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for November 9th, 2021. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we're streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Calling cause number 2020-0D03651, State of Texas versus Hector Baray. May I have announcements, please?
Brian Herrera on behalf of the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Brent Stevens for Mr. Baray, and we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Stevens, do you see your client appearing from the jail annex?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, this is Judge Perez. I'm going to be asking you some questions, so I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, Mr. Baray. I'm going to need you to speak a little bit louder. Like I said, we've had some audio issues today, so just speak as loud as you can, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Hector Baray.
Mr. Baray, we are set for a plea today. There are documents associated with that plea, the first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in this case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Baray, do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Stevens, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
We have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering a plea today?
I do.
Mr. Baray, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Stevens, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter a plea?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Baray, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
No, ma'am.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has ever found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea today. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where were you born?
Here in El Paso.
El Paso, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the charge against you is accident involving serious bodily injury. 2 counts of accident involving serious bodily injury. Count 1, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And to count 2, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making each of your pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will find that you are making your pleas freely and voluntarily. Mr. Herrera, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Had the state gone to trial in cause number 2020-0D03651, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Hector Baray, on or about the 30th day of November 2019 in the county of El Paso and state of Texas, did then and there intentionally and knowingly drive a vehicle that became involved in an accident that resulted in injury to Marco Rodriguez, hereafter styled the complainant, and the defendant did thereafter, knowing the accident had occurred, intentionally and knowingly leave the scene of the accident without giving his name, address, registration number of the vehicle the defendant was driving, or the name of the defendant's motor vehicle liability insurer to any person, and without rendering reasonable assistance to the complainant when it was then apparent that the complainant was in need of medical treatment and the accident resulted in serious bodily injury of the complainant. And is further presented that the defendant used or exhibited a deadly weapon, to wit, a motor vehicle, during the commission of or immediate flight from said offense. As to count 2, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Hector Baray, on or about the 30th day of November 2019 in the county of El Paso and state of Texas, did then and there intentionally and knowingly drive a vehicle that became involved in an accident that resulted in injury to Miguel Cifuentes, hereafter styled the complainant, and the defendant did thereafter, knowing that the accident had occurred, intentionally and knowingly leave the scene of the accident without giving his name, address, registration number of the vehicle the defendant was driving, or the name of the defendant's motor vehicle liability insurer to any person, and without rendering reasonable assistance to the complainant when it was then apparent that the complainant was in need of medical treatment and the accident resulted in the serious bodily injury of the complainant. And is further presented that the defendant used or exhibited a deadly weapon, to wit, motor vehicle, during the commission of or immediate flight from said offense. At this time, Your Honor, the state would enter States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3. States Exhibit 1 being the plea papers, States Exhibit 2 being the Article 3914 disclosure form, and States Exhibit 3 being the indictment and case summary as to both counts.
No objection, Your Honor.
Without objection, States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 are admitted. What is the plea agreement?
Your Honor, 10 years confinement in the Texas Department Criminal Justice Correctional Institutions Division, probated for 8 years. TAP evaluation, urine and breath analysis, curfew, court costs, drug and alcohol counseling, and all other standard and terms and conditions of probation, and no contact with the complaining witnesses, Your Honor.
Let me ask, with respect to the plea agreement, the drug and alcohol counseling, was there some element of alcohol use involved with this accident, or why do we have that there?
No, Your Honor, just given the defendant's past use of drugs and alcohol, he does have, from his record, does have to appear to have a drug problem.
Okay. All righty, Mr. Stevens, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Badai, is that your understanding as well?
Ma'am?
It is?
Yes.
Okay. Understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Badai, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Signed by your attorney and signed by me as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. I will find you guilty as to count 1 and count 2 of accident involving serious bodily injury. And I will sentence you according to the plea agreement with some modifications. You will be, it will be 10 years confinement of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division that will be suspended for a period of 8 years of community supervision. I see you're represented by the public defender and are still indigent. So the entire fine is, I am going to suspend, not probate, suspend the entirety of the fine. There is no fine. There will be 200 hours of community service. TAP evaluation, urine and breath analysis, curfew, court cost, drug and alcohol counseling, and you are to have no contact with the complainants. Is there anything, I'm going to also add to that, Mr. Stevens, in terms of the driving, he is obviously allowed to drive with a valid driver's license and valid insurance. All righty. Is there anything further, Mr. Herrera or Mr. Stevens?
Nothing further for the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All righty. Also, the probation fees will be lowered to $25 a month. Yeah, that's everything. Sorry about that. Anything else? If not, good luck to you, Mr. Badai. They're going to have some paperwork for you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir. All righty. Okay, so let's, oh, all right.
You want to go in order, Judge? The next one is a bond hearing, Ms.
Yes, I think we'll go in order and Mr. Morales will be sad with the exception of Mr. Cortez because I think that one we'll skip over to go to Mr. Duarte and then Mr. Gallardo. Thank you.
Okay, Judge. Do we go with, and I can't pronounce your last name, Bujes?
Yeah, we can go with that one. Uh-huh.
Okay, Annex, if we can get Natasha Bujes, please.
Oh, there you are. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm looking at different screens. All right. Sorry about that. Calling cause number 2021-0D02234, State of Texas versus Natasha Renee Bujes. May I have announcements, please?
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Joseph Heath on behalf of the defense, Your Honor, ready?
Okay, and your client is appearing from the jail annex. We are scheduled for a bond hearing today. Mr. Veith, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, and it's good to see you. Your Honor, I represent the defendant, Ms. Folks. She was born in Georgia, but raised in various states. She ended up settling in Philadelphia, where she went to high school. She graduated from Philadelphia High School. More recently, she moved from Delaware to El Paso because her son was stationed in the military here, and she was living with him and helping him. He ended up leaving, and she wanted to stay in El Paso after he left El Paso to be stationed somewhere else. And she settled here. El Paso is her home now. She has no immediate plans to leave. This is where she wants to reside. So if she were granted a bond, she would be residing here in El Paso. There's a little bit of urgency for her to be released. She has heart problems. She has a stent in her heart, and she also has Crohn's disease, and she has not been able to receive the treatment that she needs while in jail for the past few months. She also has a 10-year-old daughter who lives with her mom. Her mom now has cancer, so she may have to intervene in being more involved with helping her mom and working with her mom to raise her 10-year-old. Before she was arrested, she was working at Speedy Pizza, and she was residing, and she'll continue to reside at 3404 Broadus, El Paso, Texas, 79904. And prior to being arrested for this, she was on a bond for 2 other cases, Your Honor. And when she was ultimately arrested for this, I think the allegation is going to be very defensible if the complaining witness is even locatable by the state. He was arrested for assaulting my client on an aggravated assault previously this year. I think it was earlier this year. And he actually assaulted her on the date of the incident, and then she failed to call the police, and he did, and then made up a story about what happened, knowing that he had just been arrested for aggravated assault just months prior. So I'm very optimistic at how the case will ultimately go. But as of right now, her bond is $25,000. I spoke with her family. I've been in touch regularly with her mom, Patricia Jordan, and they don't have much money or funds that they can use towards bond. I was hoping the court would consider a PR bond that would have conditions imposed that would satisfy the court and ease any concerns the court might have. There's no contact that's expected between her and the complaining witness. They have no children together. I don't even know if I don't know if the state's had any contact with him or ability to reach him. But my client has no interest in having any communication whatsoever with the person.
Okay, Mr. Herrera?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state did reach out to the complaining witness and left a voicemail prior to this hearing, but we did not receive a call back from the complaining witness regarding this bond hearing. Now, I don't believe, Your Honor, that the defendant has presented sufficient community ties to El Paso, so there is a risk there, a flight risk, just considering the lack of ties to the community. There is a pretty lengthy just juvenile criminal history and mostly traffic offenses, Your Honor, but the defendant was out on bond for her pending theft of property and possession cases prior to picking up this most recent aggravated assault. So the state would respectfully oppose a straight PR bond. So that's the state's position, Your Honor.
So in terms of the adult criminal history, we have, I think it's a theft. Is it just a theft outstanding? Anything else?
Just a misdemeanor.
Hold on a
Yeah.
sec.
Yeah, just a misdemeanor theft and a possession of a controlled substance, state jail felony.
And what's the relation? I mean, they're not living together. They weren't living together. None of that kind of situation. No. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so, Your Honor.
They were former relationship, Your Honor. Sorry.
And one complainant. That's all we have, right? One complainant. All right.
Yes, Judge.
Else? Nope.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Judge.
Is there anything else? Sorry.
No, nothing further for the state.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grant the request to reduce the bond. It's not going to be a straight PR. It's going to be a $10,000 split bond. It's going to be $5,000 cash surety, $5,000 PR. She is to report once a month to the PR bond office, have a curfew, not have any contact or come within 200 yards of the complaining witness. I think at the time there was a protective order, but that has since expired. So not only the complaining witness, but if there's a particular residence that is associated with the complaining witness, you also may not be 200 yards from there, ma'am. Subject to urine and breath analysis, you're to commit no new offenses. You'll have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you are working or going to school. You're subject to testing. You're to use no illegal drug or alcohol. Let me see what else. I think that's it. That'll be the bond order. Next setting is 12/7.
Thank
Okay,
you,
make
Judge.
sure, yes, make sure, Mr. Veith, you go over with your client the reporting if she bonds out, how there's report on Mondays, things like that.
I sure will, Your Honor.
Alrighty, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
All right, so we'll go to Mr. Duarte.
Duarte,
Mhm.
Annex, if we can get Benjamin Duarte, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, your picture is intimidating. I keep looking over there and I'm like, woo.
That does
It
kind of
is
look like my
intimidating.
gangster picture. Everybody
know.
tells me I'm throwing signs below that.
I get a little scared. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. That's all right. You can put it back on. There's just so few pictures. Hi, Ms. Lerma. All
Hi,
righty.
Judge.
Mr. Duarte, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all righty. Calling cause number 2018-0D04081, State of Texas versus Benjamin Duarte. May I have announcements, please?
Ryan Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Veronica Teresa Lerba, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Duarte, we are ready to proceed.
And Mr. Duarte is appearing from the jail annex. If I'm not mistaken, we had discussed this case before, but we needed to do it at the jail slot. Had we come to a resolution on Mr. Duarte, an agreement?
No, Judge, we don't have an agreement. The recommendation by the state was, or is rather, to TDC. And I have communicated that to Mr. Duarte. I went to go visit him at the jail on Sunday. He has declined the 2 TDC. I provided him the stipulation papers. He would ask this court to consider putting him back on probation or giving him some sort of rehabilitation component. And that is the reason why he's declining the 2 TDC, because he acknowledges that he has a problem and he thinks that he would be better served if revoked to some sort of rehabilitative program while on probation.
Ms. Pineda, are you there? Had we done BHRTC with him before? I'm sorry, because I'm looking up my notes on this and I have a lot.
Yes, Your Honor. He did complete
That's
BHRTC
right.
from April through October 2020.
And then we lost him right after that.
Yes, on aftercare, yes.
Yes. So Mr. Duarte, I'm sorry, but no, I'm not sending you back to treatment. We went basically down that road, and that is one, I don't know if that was preceded by, you know, a series of steps towards that type of treatment, but really BHRTC was the opportunity for you to, and I think you actually completed the inpatient portion, and it was the aftercare that, you know, really, that to me, that was a waste of resources because you did not benefit. You basically ended up in the same place as if we had not sent you. And so I think in discussing this before, I think we had been down this road, Ms. Lerma. We should have a revo date. I'm not sure if Sandy just put that in the chat. Yes, of 12/7. I mean, we can keep that. Is it at the 3 p.m. slot, Sandy? Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. And if we're really looking at some kind of revo, Ms. Lerma, then we can probably take that time. But we're coming back on December 7th. I'm just fine with the two TDC. Ms. Carla, is that the recommendation from probation?
It's not, Your Honor. The recommendation on the case summary, it's including residential treatment. But when he stopped reporting in the aftercare, he also had a relapse. He went back to using, I know he stopped reporting as well, but I mean, I'm throwing it out there, Judge.
But I guess my question is, why are you throwing it out there? Is it something that is, there is some thought that he's going to benefit from safety?
Well, that is, the probation's recommending for him if to continue on probation, residential treatment is a recommendation. So that would be, I mean, I know he just did BHRTC. I wouldn't know if safety would be an option.
Is RSAT available?
No. Ms. Lerma, if there is some specific concerns regarding what potentially your client's, how he is going to benefit from another round, we can address it on 12/7. I'm not there, but if you want to, help your client articulate his case for that,
Okay,
opportunity to do that.
Judge, so on the 7th, then that'll be set for all matters, including my bond matter, or would the court first want to consider maybe modifying based on argument of that I present?
I wasn't aware there was a request on the bond. So if you have that outstanding, if you will submit that, you can actually, we can set you that day. I mean, I think that probably falls pretty closely with the court's scheduling.
Okay.
And we don't have to wait. Okay, Sandy is saying she hasn't received a motion. Just get us the motion, please. That's filed. Okay. We don't have to wait till the 7th. If you got some details about your client situation that you want me to consider, you can go ahead and shoot it kind of in a group email to the state and to Ms. Pineda and myself, and maybe we can think of something before the 7th.
Okay.
Okay, all righty. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Fabian Gallardo. If I can have Fabian Gallardo.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hi, Mr. Carmona.
I am on, Judge. I just had to pick up the kids and I am about a block down.
Okay, are you asking for us to come back to you?
If possible.
Well, I don't think so. Your client's right here.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry. Calling cause number 2020-0D05746, 2021-0D01564, and 2021-0D01343, State of Texas versus Fabian Gallardo. May I have announcements, please?
Ashley Martinez, ready for the State of Texas on all cases.
Omar Carmona on behalf of Fabian Gallardo, ready, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're here for status conferences on all of these, and this was a late add-on, I believe, from Thursday. Mr. Carmona, there were several issues, serious issues that came up, reference your client's case and the complainant, and I just don't know. I know we're set for trial. Where's my list? Where is my list? We're set for trial in December. I'm not sure if it's December 2nd or December 9th and 10th. But what are we doing?
Well, Your Honor, Ms. Martinez has had some things posted on Portal that really change a lot. And if I can give you some background, I represent Mr. Fabian Gallardo on these cases. And I also represented Mr. Antonio Ortiz, his father, on some unrelated cases in the 205th. Now, unfortunately, now I am in possession, as provided by Ms. Martinez, some audio recordings from the jail,
right,
in which there is
I think we lost you, Mr. Carmona.
And it does affect now this felony that I have with Mr. Gallardo.
So we lost everything after audio recordings. You cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got these audio recordings in which the state can possibly accuse my other client in the 205th, Mr. Ortiz, of a new felony.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem that I'm having is that it creates a conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So being that this was just, I'm going to go to the annex tomorrow morning. I have to check some things in my file, but I don't see how I'd be able to stay on and represent both of them. Because initially, the two cases that I was representing father and son on were completely unrelated. But now it looks like there is going to be some things intertwined, unfortunately. So I was going to see Mr. Gallardo tomorrow.
Who did you represent first?
And Miss Martinez may know this. Once I get home, I can look this up, but I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Ortiz first.
That's correct, Your Honor. Tony's incident, who the victim is actually Fabian's mother, occurred in November.
Okay.
And then Fabian's incident occurred in March of next year.
Okay. So I don't want to hold you up any longer. We're going to come back in 1 week. It sounds to me, let me ask you this, but for the conflict issue, are you prepared to go to trial with Mr. Gallardo?
I would be prepared, Judge. Mr. Gallardo has authorized me to engage in plea negotiations. So I did convey that to Miss Martinez this afternoon when I spoke to her, and that I would be going to the annex tomorrow, then hopefully with a response to Miss Martinez in the afternoon. But obviously now certain things have changed. You know.
So we're going to come back on Tuesday, Mr. Gallardo. We'll be back at 3 p.m. in 1 week. If you have realized, Mr. Carmona, then I need you to file something regarding your withdrawal on Mr. Gallardo, and we'll go from there. But we are set for trial on the 9th and 10th. I mean, just throwing that out there in the event that you stay on, okay?
Your
Okay,
Honor,
thank
may I
you.
say just one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I know we're in a time crunch. I just want to address my victim's safety because of what occurred. May we go into a breakout room with you for 2 seconds?
I'm getting that situated right now, folks. Okay, should be open.
Hi, Sandy. Hi,
I'm
Sandy.
saying hi to me.
Daniel have alert.
Danny,
Excused.
no. You still have Ramsey. And then respond to your email, reference that occupational.
Which one?
Your office is annoying me.
Okay. All the girls like, you gotta take care of Sandy. Well, let's take care of Sandy.
I can hear you.
Okay, my bad. Sandy,
Yes.
is it Gomez that we just pled?
What about her?
I think the issue is her. Is she going to be governed under an interlock?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, no. No, I apologize. I believe the device is the
mobile unit?
yes, perdón. That's typically the standard when we do with the GPS capacity, blah, blah, blah.
On the 210? Okay.
Yes. The issue was she wasn't on one prior
She
for
wasn't.
whatever reason. I
Right.
don't know why.
I think we know the reason, but that's, yeah. That's,
Yes, that's another story.
Yeah. So I don't recall, but I think the court ordered.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's why I'm confused, Brian. On the paperwork, there's nothing with regard to any monitoring unit.
Look at the term.
Yeah,
Right. No, there's not. The judge added that on per 210.
But which unit? What do you want her on? Or what does the court want her on?
Well, I believe the judge did not want an interlock, but rather the mobile unit. But
Carla, do you have it? What kind of what kind of device device it was?
It should have been the alcohol monitor with GPS.
Thank you.
Because she shouldn't be driving, if that's my understanding. Unless she had the court's permission.
well,
Right. No?
no, I think just without a license is what judge.
She can't drive.
Let me double check. Hold on.
Yeah. Please.
As soon as if and when the judge comes on, I'm gonna tell you to be quiet. but we can try to find out as much as we can in the interim. Did you see that email, Mr. Avalar?
I did not. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you know what? I sent it to
On
you.
which-
I didn't realize I
No.
had you under your Hotmail. Is that one I should be using?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mr.
use that
Pantal,
one.
I believe attorneys are messaging you. I'm not sure if you're in front of your screen or not.
I think it's under Handsome Daniel 915.
Yeah, no, on Hotmail, is it?
Handsome Daniel 915 at Hotmail. I think that's what it is.
No,
Do you have another one?
I have just,
Whatever I told the Council of Judges, just notice that one.
I have.
Go ahead, Mr. Burke Benjamin, you're there. I sent you a little message. I need you to see. Thank you.
Just Daniel Avalar at Hotmail is what I have.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, Sandy, we're talking about Ramsey, right?
He's pending on Ramsey, yes.
But
no, but we're talking about Gomez. And then I'm trying to figure out a petition for occupational license.
Gomez, which Gomez? I'm sorry, I was thinking of Ramsey.
Maria. That sounded very aggressive, sorry. Maria.
Gomez who?
Maria de la Luz
Maria
Gomez.
de la Luz, quién sabe qué.
De Elias de la Luz.
Elias.
The lady from right now?
Sí.
She has to get the portable one with the GPS daily reporting, the one that the judge always orders.
Thank you, Marissa.
As far as driving goes, she could drive unless she
doesn't have a valid license.
It's good. She does have a valid license.
Right.
Sure.
So
And insurance.
can she? Yeah, she's good. So she's good.
Yes, as long as she has that device.
Danny, I'll text you later because I've been trying to get a hold of her to talk to her.
Annex, could I have Mr. Gallardo back, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ooh, do we have another interpreter? Mr. Gallardo. All right, we are back on the record. In cause numbers 2020-0D057. Did Omar come back? Oh yeah, there you are. 5746, 2021-0D01564, and 2021-0D01343. State of Texas versus Fabian Gallardo. Okay, so you understand, Mr. Gallardo. I know you've been in custody for a while, and we do have you scheduled for trial on jury selection, December 9th, 10th. You can imagine turnaround time is pretty quick when you factor in the holidays. And now we have this new issue of a potential conflict and a potential withdrawal. I'm not sure what Mr. Carmona will end up having to do. We will be back in a week to go over that. But in the event that we have a change in attorney, you do understand that it is very unlikely that we can be, that attorney would be, a new attorney would be able to be ready to go to trial on those days. Okay, so we're looking at, if Mr. Carmona or his firm is not able to represent you, then we're looking at a reset of your trial setting, okay? We're not there yet. We'll discuss it next week when we know what's happening. The other thing is there have been several issues, and I know the restrictions I have on you are in place regarding any threats or communications, anything with our complainant in this case. I can't control what I don't know if it's your stepfather or your father and your mother are doing. I understand they have matters in another court, but it's only because I'm not hearing specific allegations like that regarding you. Okay.
Yes,
No, things get tough when trial is so close, but there are very serious concerns regarding the safety of the complainant in this case. It may not be coming from you. It better not be coming from you, because I'll tell you this. If I find out that anything that you're doing is either threatening or in violation of any of your conditions of PR bond, you know, you're already in jail. I mean, there's not a whole lot more, but you could be subject, if you are doing something that could be considered a new offense, you have new charges.
Yes, Your Honor. No, I understand that, and I can guarantee that I haven't talked to
Mr. Gallardo, hold on. I don't want you to say anything that, give me any details of anything. If I ask you, then you'll know and you'll have your attorney.
Yes,
But it's kind of crunch time in your case. And it sounds like to me, there's some things going on that your parents are not under this court's eye, they're under somebody else's. So we'll see you next week.
Antonio has nothing, he's not related to me at all whatsoever. I don't consider him, he's a stepfather or dad.
All right, well, I understand. I understand. I don't want any problems. If any problems come to you or from you, you're gonna hear about it from me. All right.
Yes,
so
Honor.
We'll get this straightened out. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Mr. Carmona. Thank you, Ms. Martinez.
Thank you, Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay.
Did you take care of Mr. Cortez?
No, we're gonna leave him to the end.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Who's next?
Then we've got annex, if we can get Angel Losano Batista.
All right, Mr. Lopez.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez. There we go. Okay, bond hearing. Do you know what his bond is, Mr. Lopez?
Yes, Your Honor. He was already given a bond back in July. It's 5,000 corporate and 10,000 PR. That was done July of this year. But you will soon hear that my client is disabled, and I've spoken with family members and they still can't get him out.
Okay, calling cause number 2021-02483, State of Texas versus Angel H. Losano Batista. May I have announcements, please?
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't understand.
Okay, did we have an interpreter here?
Oh, we had two.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Where's our interpreter? I have too many people in my screen. And now we don't have any?
No, Judge. I don't recall Mr. Lopez receiving the request for, sir. I don't know if the bailiff did.
Okay.
I didn't.
We did not get a request for an interpreter. I don't see it on the docket. So you're either waiving it, Mr. Lopez, or you just need to wait until we get our interpreter.
We can waive it, Judge, and I can proffer testimony.
Will you communicate that? Can you communicate that to your client in Spanish, please?
Yes. Mr. Bautista, Losano Bautista, voy a proceder en inglés, ¿ok? Voy a hacer el argumento por usted en inglés. Ahí después le voy y le explico cuando vaya al annex.
Señor Batista, ¿está de acuerdo con eso?
Sí.
Okay, so he is indicating that he is okay to proceed without an interpreter, and that Mr. Lopez will explain. Go ahead, Mr. Lopez, you may proceed with your bond hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. As I mentioned to the court a few minutes ago, Mr. Angel Losano Bautista, he's 64 years of age. He is disabled. He has been disabled for over 15 years. He has no income. On July the 9th of 2021, this court or the jail magistrate set a bond of 15,000, 5,000 cash or surety, and 10,000 PR. Unfortunately, Mr. Batista has not been able to raise those monies to bail out. I've spoken with his daughter, and she also indicated that they couldn't raise the monies. And so far, nobody has come to help Mr. Batista in securing even the $5,000 cash surety or cash. So I don't believe there's anybody that can help him raise the 5,000 needed to post the bond. So I'm requesting if the court, he has been in custody for 125 days now. And so I'm requesting the court to give him a full PR.
Okay. Mr. Herrera, is this a true third?
Judge, so there is a fourth from 1994. In addition to the 2015 local in El Paso County 2014 0C 11626, and then there's a April 2003 out in Deaf Smith County in cause number 980196, and then there's a 1994 DWI cause
So
number
this is, I guess this is number what?
4,
one-
Judge.
This
Technically
one is
4.
number 4. Okay,
Yes, Judge.
alrighty.
And just to clarify, Judge, it's 10,000 cash charity, 5,000 PR.
I'm looking at the bond order. I see 5,000 cash surety, 10,000 PR. That's from Judge Aoun over there at JMAG. Is that the last,
Okay.
is that the most recent one, Marissa?
The most recent bond order I have is from July 9th, 2021, and it is for 5,000 surety, 10,000 PR.
Okay, sorry. I was going off the
Alright.
motion, Judge, sorry.
Sure. So, what did he do, Mr. Lopez? I mean, what does he work? Was he working on a farm or something? I'm trying to remember if I.
Yes, Your Honor, he actually lives in New Mexico. He's still was living with his very elderly mother, not employed really. So he's disabled. Not much to tell about him. 64 years of age.
Okay, so go ahead.
And Judge, I was just gonna say, if he was residing in New Mexico, then that presents possible problems with him leaving the jurisdiction unless he's got somewhere to reside here locally.
Is there anything else, Mr. Lopez?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so the request is denied. I think the bond is adequate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so next is Isaac Martinez. Is Ms. Caballero here?
I didn't see her on here,
No?
Judge.
Okay. If she's not, then we'll go to Clevy Nelson.
Annex, if we can get Ms. Nelson, please.
And Your Honor, I just jumped on for Mr. Benjamin. He had to run off to something personal issue, so I'm here for him.
Okay. All righty. Is someone appearing other than Mr. Adat? Oh, there's Ms. Hill. Okay, I see her.
Hello.
All righty.
How are you?
Good, thanks. And so calling cause number 2021-0D02380 State of Texas versus Clevy Nelson. May I have announcements, please?
Yes, Michelle Hill on behalf of the state. The state is ready to proceed, Your Honor. As well as
Hello,
Haban
Nunez.
Mohammed. I'm sorry. As
Sorry.
well as Haban
And-
Mohammed for the state.
And Lorel Nunez from the Benjamin Law Firm on behalf of Ms. Clevy Nelson, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Nelson is appearing. Ms. Nelson, how are you?
I'm hanging in there, ma'am. How are you?
Okay, I'm well, thanks. We are here on a motion to reconsider the bond, I believe. I had reviewed it, Mr. Nunez, when Mr. Benjamin submitted it via email in terms of scheduling the hearing. I believe it consisted of an affidavit from Ms. Nelson's mother regarding the financial situation in terms of making the bond. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Mr. Nunez?
Well, Your Honor, they have the money to make the bond. The only issue is that they need to put up some type of collateral, which is what they're asking for a home, and they simply don't have that. That's the first issue. And Miss Nelson's mother is available to testify if you did want to ask her. She is waiting on Zoom. The other issue, Your Honor, is we've discovered that the state's case isn't essentially as strong as it was thought to be. There are some recordings where the complaining witness or the deceased is calling the officers stating that he is being chased and being hit by another vehicle. Initially, the state was saying that there was nothing in regards to that he was never made any types of calls like that. And the deceased does have a prior case where he did lie. It was a false report. Yes, ma'am. And that's the other issue that Mr. Benjamin does address in his motion. Those are the only two new issues that we wanted to bring to the court's attention and see if the court would consider reducing the bond once more. That way, Ms. Nelson could essentially help us with preparing for trial. And I think we are set in December, Your Honor.
We are just set December 9th and 10th. Ms. Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state is in opposition to any reduction based on the nature and circumstances of the offense. Additionally, that the defendant has no local ties. With regard to the new evidence, I'm not sure what counsel is referring to. However, we do have reports in the case which the defendant states that the vehicle that she was riding in, which was her vehicle, which caused the accident, actually did bump the victim's vehicle. So that's up for dispute. So at this point, it doesn't appear that there's any new evidence or any new circumstances that would merit any type of reduction. So at this point, based on the nature and circumstances, the state is in opposition to any reduction.
Is the state ready to go to trial on December 9th and 10th?
Your Honor, I'm subbing in today for Mr. Compton, or Curtis, Cox, I'm sorry. And I do need to speak with Mr. Benjamin. As far as I know, these are the dates that I've been given, but I can't definitively say yes. But I do want to speak with Mr. Benjamin as I'm just coming in on the case.
Okay.
So I don't want to misspeak and say yes or no.
Are you not able to hear Erica?
No, ma'am, I believe Mr. Cox is in the meeting.
Oh, he's here?
Is he here? Oh, I thought he was out. So you can speak to that.
I hadn't seen him either. We got a lot of boxes here today. Sorry, Mr. Cox.
I'm doing well, Your Honor. We will endeavor to be ready on the trial date, Your Honor. I think we've had one continuance, so we're going to do everything we can to be ready.
Well, and this is, Mr. Nunez, do you have anything else?
Well, I think, Your Honor, I know we had continued last time. I think Mr. Cox is correct. I think our main concern is, I think prosecutors keep being moved in and out on the case. And it's kind of, I think initially we started with Mr. Hines, and then Ms. Vergara had it, and Mr. Cox had it. I think Mr. Hines had it after that. If they were to ask for another continuance, I think the court should take that into consideration in regards to letting Ms. Clevy out or reducing the bond so that she can get out, just because, I mean, we've been waiting for some time now, Your Honor. She's just sitting, awaiting her trial date, Your Honor, essentially. And I think that's been hindered a little bit by, the constant change in prosecutors on this case.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Judge.
Okay. So with respect to the bond, we can do it a couple of ways, Mr. Nunez. Either I am going to, to me, I feel like temporarily it's, I know it doesn't feel premature for your client, but I may consider lowering the bond, but I want to see where we are with this trial. From what you've presented or Mr. Benjamin presented in the motion to reconsider, I can just hold off on your motion to reconsider the bond until we get closer to the trial date and see what else develops. In terms of your concern, though, about being able to prepare for trial with your client, I need to make you aware that we are doing our very best to accommodate bringing inmates over to the courtroom. In other words, scheduling status hearings where we can bring your client over so that you can come in and review evidence and prepare for trial. Now, what I will tell you is, because of holidays and all of the requests that we get, if you have that request, we will do everything we can to accommodate you. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So if you need that in the interim, let us know. So for now, I'm going to withhold, just withhold a decision on the motion to reconsider. I assume we could probably revisit that on December 7th at the final hearing plea deadline. I think that's good enough time if we need to at that point. We should know where we are.
Okay.
Okay. Ms.
Yes,
Nelson,
ma'am.
what that means, I'll let you get with your attorney. It's not necessarily that I've denied it, but I think we're a little early on that. So we have our next setting on the 7th, unless Mr. Nunez, you all request time for her to come over here, but you need to let us know so we can schedule that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We'll do. I'll speak to Mr. Benjamin in regards to that, and if anything changes, we'll let the court know.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Hill and
Thank you,
Mr.
Judge.
Cox. Who's
Thank
next?
you.
Oh, is it me or you?
Hey, Judge, you want Ramsey or Salas?
Sure, let's do Ramsey. Where is Miss Ramsey? Oh, there's Mr. Avila. Okay.
If we can get Sylvia Ramsey, please.
Okay.
Sylvia Ramsey.
Okay, there's Miss Ramsey. All right, I'll do it. We're calling cause number 2020 D04156, State of Texas versus Sylvia Cecilia Ramsey. May I have announcements, please?
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And Daniel Avalar for Miss Ramsey. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, and Miss Kendrick is here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to expedite. She is here. She gave me a very good email with details regarding the screening, the mental health screening,
Sure.
which basically there was one examination, but they had another referral for her, I believe through EHN jail, but that will not be happening until November 15th at 10 a.m. So I can read that to you specifically. Ms. Ramsey was screened for mental health services. Upon intake, due to no disclosure of any illnesses or disorders, she was not further evaluated. Upon speaking with Deputy Director of Special Programs, Ms. Caro submitted a request to have her further evaluated for any possible services by EHN at the jail in the next week or so. Furthermore, the department has scheduled a TAP assessment while in custody, which is also set for November 15th. Between these two assessments, we should be able to provide the court with a more accurate plan. So what it sounds like to me is this is a work in progress, but one that is not futile. It looks like we are actually trying to look for a good solution here. So my suggestion was we reset this to November 16th. That's 1 week because it'll be the date after the evaluations. Mr. Avila?
That's right, Judge. If it provides some sort of a solution as opposed to something futile or something that'll send her away for a while, we're all for it. We were here like a week or two ago, Judge. Me and Mr. Underwood were here present for Miss Ramsey. Both of us were present. And we do recall the arguments by the state, the court's opinions, of course.
There were several concerns, and we're not, the court is not deaf on those things, right? I mean, there's, despite whatever frustration Miss Ramsey or her family has, we are actually trying to find what is the heart of the problem here. And so we're going to be set, if we're not already, for the 16th at 3 p.m. Whereas I hope I will have all these good bits of information that we can evaluate Ms. Ramsey on.
Sure.
Okay.
So so today's status is, so what's going to happen next is, as I understand it, there's going to be some evaluation, specifically mental health, I think is what it is.
One additional mental health and TAP.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So we'll see what we have on the 16th at 3 p.m.
Yes,
I only
ma'am.
had us down for probation status. It will be probation status again next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you, Your
Ramsey.
Honor.
All right.
Judge, may I be excused?
Oh, yes, Ms. Kendrick. Thank you so much. Your email was great. We had it under control, but thank you for being here. All right, now let's go. Bye-bye. Let's go to Gerardo Salas.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused also?
I think so.
Thank you. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Yeah, and if we can get Gerardo Salas, please.
And if
May
we could
you
have
mean-
Gerardo Salas. Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Dano.
Can we go into a breakout room on this one with Mr. Herrera and Ms. Chavez?
Sure.
Thank you.
I only have one screen now. That's pretty good.
Sorry, folks, I'm getting that situated. Okay, should be open.
There we go.
Sandra, how do I go to the breakout room?
Sorry, ma'am. I did not include you.
It'll just appear.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about that. There, now you should have it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Williams looks like a Netflix special.
Gangster.
You're muted, Mr. Williams.
Gangster in Missouri.
The judge was giving me grief about it earlier. I don't know how to take that darn thing off.
Oh my God. Where's your office person now? That's what they get paid for. Oh my Lord.